Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tempe City Council regular council meeting. Item number 1 is call to order. Council meetings can be watched in real time via Cox Cable Channel 11 and at tempe.gov/tempe11. Members of the public may also attend the meeting virtually through Microsoft Teams. If you're here to speak on items designated as public hearing items later on in the agenda, please know that you will have an opportunity to speak when I introduce those items at the time of their public hearing. The City Council and I will need to complete the other items of business leading up to those items, so we appreciate your patience. If you wish to speak on a public hearing item and you haven't filled out a speaker card yet, please make sure to fill out and submit your completed card to the city clerk prior to the agenda item coming forward for council discussion. I will call your name when it is your turn for public comment. I'd now like to invite everyone who's able and willing to stand to join me in a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. We're going to move on here. Tonight's agenda has a number of items that the City Council must consider in order to conduct city business. Guidelines for conduct at City Council meetings are on the table near the entrance for those in attendance at tonight's meeting. We will now play a video with the proper protocol for ensuring the appropriate conduct at City Council meetings.
The City of Tempe welcomes public comment at this time. Disruptive behavior will not be allowed. Continued disruptive behavior will lead to removal from the council chambers. We need to be able to hear everyone in the room. Behavior that disrupts, disturbs, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of any city council meeting is not helpful and is not permitted. This includes behavior both inside and outside of the council chambers. Should individuals inside the council chambers become disruptive so that city business is not able to be conducted, the mayor will first ask that the individuals allow city business to be completed. There will be time for public comment during the call to the audience portion of the meeting. If no cooperation, the mayor will issue a verbal warning and let them know that the continued disruptive behavior will lead to removal from the council chambers. If there is still no cooperation, the mayor will issue a second verbal warning and let them know that the continued disruptive behavior will lead to removal from the council chambers. If there is no cooperation after asking and 2 verbal warnings, then the mayor will ask security officers to remove only those individuals who are causing the disruption. Security personnel should not engage in any way, but only escort them from the council chambers. If individuals refuse to leave, security personnel shall warn them that they are trespassing and that the next step will be arrest by a Tempe police officer. Tempe officers may have to arrest if individuals refuse to leave. Charges for trespass and disorderly conduct may apply, as well as other charges. Should anyone be asked to be removed, the mayor will recess the meeting.
We will now play a video conveying the City of Tempe's Native Land Acknowledgement Statement.
We wish to acknowledge that Tempe is the homeland of the Native people who have inhabited this landscape since time immemorial. These ancestral lands of the O'odham, known as Pima, Peeposh, known as the Maricopa, and their ancestors extend far beyond our city. This land continues to be spiritually connected to the O'odham of the Salt River Pima, Maricopa Indian Community, and Gila River Indian Community. We accept the responsibility of stewarding those places and solemnly pledge to consider this commitment in every action.
Thank you very much. That moves us to item number 4, meeting minutes. Tonight I'll be assisted by Vice Mayor Adams. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve City Council minutes, item 4A1.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Adams. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Hodge. I also want to make a note, too, that Councilmember Garland, Councilmember Navarro, and Councilmember Chin are virtual this evening for the folks here in the audience and those watching at home. And with that, Councilmember Navarro?
Aye.
And that item passes 6-0 with Councilmember Keating absent. Next up, item 4B, acceptance of board, commission, and committee meeting minutes. Vice Mayor Adams.
Yes, I move to approve boards, commissions, and committee meeting minutes, 4B1 through 4B7.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Adams.
Second.
Was that you? That was quick. Seconded by Councilmember Hodge. It was actually so quick, by the time I turned my head, I didn't even see her mouth moving. Wow. All right. All right. With that said, please vote.
Aye.
And that item also passes 6-0 with Councilmember Keating absent. That brings me to item number 5A, Mayor's Reports and Announcements. So the first one I have here is item 5A1, Mayor's Monarch Pledge Proclamation. So I'd like to share a little bit about this next proclamation for all of you. So Tempe is taking steps to cultivate pollinator populations, especially monarch butterflies in Tempe. Through partnerships with nonprofits, garden communities, and city staff, the work to help save the monarch butterfly engages all parts of Tempe, ensuring that historically marginalized communities are included in the many benefits this work will create. And now I'd like to invite staff from the Arizona Wildlife Federation, Arizona State University, and the Transportation and Sustainability Department to the front while I read this proclamation. And also, Councilmember Hodge, Vice Mayor Adams, would you like to join me down there? There we go. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. All right, so this proclamation reads, whereas the monarch butterfly is an iconic North American species whose multi-generational migration and metamorphosis from caterpillar to butterfly has captured the imagination of millions of Americans. And whereas the decline of the monarch butterfly population is concerning, and scientists attribute that decline to degradation and loss of habitat. And whereas cities have a critical role in promoting conservation of the monarch butterfly and other pollinators by creating an ecologically diverse, high-quality habitat via the planting of milkweed and other native pollinator plants in public parks, right-of-ways, streets, community gardens, and whereas Tempe has supported monarch habitat plantings for several years in conjunction with increased use of Sonoran Desert native plant pallets, and also commits to educating residents on how they can make a difference at home and in their community by promoting community workshops, native plant giveaways, and educating residents on the butterfly's cultural significance and how to create habitat. And whereas the work of city staff from the Transportation and Sustainability Department, Community Services, Water Conservation, and outside stakeholders like Arizona Wildlife Federation and Arizona State University can support citywide conservation of habitat and biodiversity. And whereas the city of Tempe hereby commits to helping restore habitats for the monarch butterfly and encourages our residents to do the same. Now, therefore, I, Corey Woods, Mayor of the city of Tempe, Arizona, do hereby declare May 21st, 2024 as Mayor's Monarch Pledge Day in Tempe, Arizona.
All right.
He says I'm taking it.
There it is.
It was on brand. Yeah, I made it for this.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Big smiles, ready? 1, 2, 3. More like that. Big smiles, don't blink. 1, 2, 3.
A little bit more, a little bit more.
Oh,
Sorry, thank you.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you. And this one here is going to be received by John Horn and Sky Harbor Squadron 301. I think I know who those folks are. So come on down. Oh, okay, fair enough.
Looking good in your uniform. Yeah, very sharp.
How are you? Good. All right, so this proclamation reads, whereas Sky Harbor Squadron 301 of the Civil Air Patrol a civilian auxiliary of the United States Air Force, has demonstrated exceptional community service and dedication to the East Valley since its inception. And whereas the squadron, originally formed in 1945 and located at Sky Harbor Airport, has consistently provided volunteer support in various capacities to nonprofit organizations and community events, remaining a steadfast presence in the community for 79 years. And whereas the squadron's significant contributions include assisting in COVID-19 relief efforts for homeless families, aiding COVID-19 immunization sites in Tempe and Phoenix, volunteering at area food banks, supporting families of Arizona Air and Army National Guard members, and participating in annual Memorial Day ceremonies at the National Memorial Cemetery of Arizona. And whereas the young men and women cadets of Sky Harbor Squadron 301, aged 12 to 18 years, have shown outstanding commitment and effort in their volunteer activities, serving as future leaders and continuing the legacy of community service in the East Valley. And whereas the adult members of Sky Harbor Squadron 301, serving entirely in a volunteer capacity, have provided invaluable leadership and mentorship to the cadets, fostering a spirit of community service and civic responsibility. And whereas the City of Tempe recognizes and acknowledges Sky Harbor Squadron 301 Patrol for their outstanding community service and dedication to the betterment of the East Valley. Their contributions have made a lasting impact on our community and set a commendable example for all residents. Now, therefore, I, Corey Woods, Mayor of the City of Tempe, Arizona, do hereby declare May 2024 as Sky Harbor Squadron 301 Lifetime of Service Recognition Month in Tempe, Arizona.
Right. Run over and get a picture, Steve. Well, get close here so we can get our pictures.
Okay.
Okay. I think you'll have to move in. You guys are all gonna have to move in, I'm sure.
Come on in.
Yeah,
Everybody scooch together, nice
Yep.
and close.
I knew that was coming.
There. Yeah, perfect. Let's
Congratulations.
Thank you.
come forward a little bit, stand right there. You come this way a little bit, and you slide in. Great. And then you sneak right over here. Yep, that looks great. Sorry. In front. Big smiles, 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do one more time. Don't blink. 1, 2, 3. Big smile. Gotcha. Next.
Oh, okay. Mama's gonna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, next up, item 5B, City Manager's Reports and Announcements. Madam City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. I had some bad news to share of sad news. Jack Drummond, he served on the Housing Governing Board for our city. Actually, he was just here a few weeks ago presenting for our Housing Board update. Jack Drummond has been serving on a board since 2016. He was a founding member on the Tempe Coalition for Affordable Housing, a champion for affordable housing, and a true friend to all of us, helping us guide our affordable housing decisions. So he suddenly passed away, and we wanted to make sure we honor the service he has contributed to Tempe's community, and just thank him for his service. And this happened just probably a week or so after he was here. So thank you for the opportunity, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam City Manager. Appreciate it. And definitely our thoughts and prayers go out to Jack and his family. He was definitely a really loyal public servant and very, very committed to an issue that's very important to myself and the entire council, which frankly is housing. So we definitely are sorry to hear about his passing. Next up, item number 6, public appearances. According to the Arizona Open Meeting Law, the City Council may only discuss matters listed elsewhere on this agenda for discussion and legal action. The purpose of the open call to the public is to allow individuals to address the City Council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the City Council. No person shall speak more than once, and there is a limit of 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers present at the podium must state their name and city of residence and provide a speaker card. Members of the public shall refrain from making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks and from becoming boisterous while addressing the City Council or while attending the meeting. Speakers will be taken first come, first serve in the order in which the cards were received. Speakers' visual aids and appearances by phone or recordings are not allowed. Council members are prohibited by state law from taking action on, commenting, or discussing a matter raised by a member of the public, even if asked to do so by a member of the public, so long as the subject discussed by the speaker is not listed as a specific agenda item for council's consideration for discussion and legal action. At the conclusion of public appearances, the council may ask the city manager to review a matter or place a matter on a future agenda. With that said, I've got 2 cards that I received this evening, and I once again will call these in the order in which they were received. The first card is from Robert Moore. Please come forward, state your name and place of residence. You have 3 minutes.
Robert Moore, Tempe, Arizona. Just wanted to share my disappointment at the pending demolition of the historic Watson Flowers building at 2425 East Apache Boulevard. Not only does this landmark historic site add to the unique character and texture of the light rail corridor streetscape, but is featured numerous times as a definitive architectural component within the Apache character area plan established nearly 10 years ago. Incidentally, the topic of historic preservation sits as item number 1 within this neighborhood plan, illustrating the fundamental value to the public, as well as a critical resource to the area's identity. I honestly hope the destruction of this historic property is only an exception and does not set a new precedent for the Apache corridor or Tempe as a whole, as our community continues to grow and mature. There are so many ways to creatively incorporate the richness and diversity of our community character into redevelopment projects, while supporting our character area initiatives. Needless to say, this is not a simple ask and takes long-term and proactive commitment to help actualize. That being said, Mayor and Council's ongoing support for historic preservation and cultural resource protection across our city is sincerely appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Appreciate it. The next speaker is Mylan Pankowitz. Please come forward, state your name and place of residence. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, Council and Mayor. My name is Mylan Pankiewicz. I am a resident of Scottsdale, Arizona, and I'm here to talk about the issue of performance measures related to tree and shade, and the persistent issue that cities, not only like Tempe, but other cities in the valleys have of developers coming in, building new, and completely removing well-established, old, robust, healthy trees. Some of these trees may not be native to our area, but they're certainly desert adapted, and they provide a lot of benefits in terms of shade, in terms of wildlife refuge, in terms of the attractiveness that they bring to our cities. And many of them are decades old, and they're being removed without any care. I will be back to address you on June 6th regarding the property located at the corner of McKellips and Scottsdale Road, which has been proposed for Tempe Gateway. That development, 3 parcels have over 100 trees that are mature, over 20 feet in height. They provide a lot of benefit and aesthetics to the city. And besides the points that are in that case, I just want to see that council can take action in terms of the strategic measures regarding that performance measure that we have, so that new developments can actually incorporate some of the existing and well-established trees that are in the city. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. That is all the cards I have this evening. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to address the City Council this evening? If so, please get my attention. Okay, seeing that, I'll close that portion of the meeting, and I'll move on to item number 7, which is the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda will be considered as a group and will be enacted with one motion by the City Council unless an item is removed for separate consideration. Members of the public may remove public hearing items for separate consideration. Public hearing items are designated as public hearing item at the beginning of the item title. Council members may remove any item for separate consideration or to declare a conflict of interest. If a council member would like to declare a conflict at this time, the city clerk will provide the council member with a disclosure form. If you wish to speak on a public hearing item, please fill out a speaker card and submit your completed card to the city clerk prior to the agenda item coming forward for council discussion. I will call your name when it is your turn for public comment. This evening, the consent agenda is listed as miscellaneous items 7A1 through 7A11, awards of bids and contracts items 7B1 through 7B14, and resolutions items 7C1, 7C3, and 7C4. Just a note, item 7C2 has been pulled at the request of staff and will be resubmitted at a later date. So once again, any item designated as public hearing item can be removed by a member of the public for separate consideration. If anyone would like to have a public hearing item removed, please get my attention now. All right. Seeing none, I'll look to my council colleagues. Are there any agenda items that you'd like to have removed from the consent agenda for separate consideration?
So move.
Okay. It's been moved by Councilmember Hodge,
I'll second it.
seconded by Vice Mayor Adams. Any additional comments or questions from council? Seeing none, then please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 6-0 with Councilmember Keating absent. Next up, we're going to move on to our non-consent agenda this evening. Which is item number 8. All items listed on the non-consent agenda will be considered separately. Agenda items scheduled for introduction and first public hearing will be heard but will not be voted upon at this meeting. Agenda items scheduled for second public hearing and final adoption will be voted upon tonight. Council members who may have a conflict of interest may abstain from voting on a matter, and the city clerk will provide the council members with the disclosure form at this time. The first item under this section is 8A1, which is to hold a public hearing to adopt a resolution levying the fiscal year 2024-2025 annual assessment for the City of Tempe, Downtown Tempe Enhanced Services Improvement District, ruling on objections, making corrections, and approving a new district map and approving modified assessments. This is a public hearing item, so if there's any public testimony, please get my attention now. All right, seeing none, I will close the public testimony portion of the public hearing. Council members, any comments or discussion?
So move.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Hodge, seconded by Vice Mayor Adams. Please vote. And that motion passes 6-0 with Councilmember Keating absent. The next item under this section is 8A2, which is a request a use permit to allow a metal manufacturing use in the General Industrial Overlay District and a development plan review for the creation of a 4,000 square foot welding shop for Creative Environments located at 8949 South Beck Avenue. The applicant is Creative Environments. This request is located within the General Industrial Overlay District and requires a public hearing with the City Council decision. Is there any kind of a presentation from the applicant this evening? Okay. This is also a public hearing item as well. Is there anyone wishing to address the council on this item? If so, please get my attention. All right, seeing none, I'll close the public testimony portion. Council, any comments or discussion?
Motion to approve.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Adams.
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Hodge. Please vote. And that item passes 6-0 with Councilmember Keating absent. The next item under the section is 8A3, which is to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement between the Department of the Army and City of Tempe for design and construction assistance for the Kyrene Water Reclamation Facilities and Improvement Project. Council members, any comments or discussion? Seeing none, is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Councilmember Navarro.
Second.
Seconded by Vice Mayor Adams. Please vote. And that motion passes 6-0 with Councilmember Keating absent. The last item under the section is 8A4, which is to approve the utilization of a 2-year City of Scottsdale cooperative contract with American Traffic Solutions, DBA Vera Mobility, for the provisioning of a red light and speed photo enforcement program. Council, any comments or discussion? Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I think this is a great program to do, and I know it will save lives as a result. So this is near and dear to my heart, and I'm glad we're going forward with this new level of enforcement. I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, it's been moved by Vice Mayor Adams. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Navarro. Comments, Councilmember Navarro? No, all good? Okay, any further comments or questions? All right, please vote. And that motion passes 6-0 with Councilmember Keating absent. The next section on the non-consent agenda is ordinances and items for introduction and first hearing. The items under this section will be read and introduced tonight, but no votes will be taken. Second hearing and votes are scheduled for June 6, 2024. The only item under Section 8B1 is to introduce and hold the first public hearing to amend Chapter 22, Article 1 of the Tempe City Code relating to offenses, miscellaneous, by adding Section 22-12 relating to failure to provide information. This is also a public hearing item, so if there's any public testimony, can you please get my attention now? All right, seeing none, I will close that portion. Let's see here. Council members, any comments or discussion? All right, then the second and final public hearing on this item is scheduled for June 6, 2024. Okay, the next section on the non-consent agenda is ordinances items for introduction or second hearing and final adoption. There are actually no items under the section this evening, which makes this probably the shortest council meeting in the history of the city of Tempe. I'm going to move on then to item number 9, current events, council announcements, and future agenda items. Once again, just wanted to note that council members can ask that a future agenda item be added to a future council meeting during their allotted time, but in accordance with the open meeting law, there should be no discussion on the item other than to clarify the request. I'll now call upon council members to make their comments, and this evening I will start with Council Member Navarro.
Oh, jeez. I have nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
What? Y'all are funny. Next up, Vice Mayor Adams.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to wish my mother a happy 92nd birthday. She's an amazing mother. I wish I could have celebrated in person, Mom, but we will celebrate in July, I promise. I love you, Mom, and happy birthday. Have a great day.
Thank you. Councilmember Chin?
Nothing for me, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Garland?
I do not have any presentations, but I want to say I wish I was there with you all, but I'm really happy to be able to be a part of a local solutions to homelessness conference in Washington, D.C., and hopefully I'll be bringing back some great information that we can share with the city.
Sounds good. Thank you, Councilmember Garland. Councilmember Hodge?
Yes, I have two, that's what I was going to tell you. I have two things I wanted to put on for the agenda. That's what I was asking. The first one, I want to do an update on Tempe Town Lake, the master plan update on it, the north side, what's going on, the layout of the land. Okay. And my second one I would like to put on there is like an update from the school's state of education kind of situation, how the year went. Have the superintendents, invite the superintendents of the 3 districts to come out and put a presentation out on what happened throughout the year. Okay, and I also want to thank Tempe Union High School District for another great year, academic year. It's graduation time, so I want to wish each and every student, no matter if you're in Tempe Union High School or wherever, a happy graduation if you're graduating this year. And also for every graduate who's graduating from any kind of college, apprenticeship, whatever you're doing, congratulations on that. And my last thing is I wanted to have an update on the Breakfast with Burdetta. We had over 95, it was way over. Joe just gave me the update number. It was like 122 volunteers who came out within 3 hours. It was 139 hours community service. I mean, look how much pounds of trash we picked up. We worked with Keep Tempe Beautiful. It was a wonderful event. We did the north side of the Tempe Town Lake, and that's part of the reason why I want to give the update on it. So it was a great breakfast with Burdetta, and they ate before they went out and they actually pick up trash. So, all right, and that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Hodge. I don't have any comments this evening, which brings us then to item number 10, public appearances. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the City Council this evening? If so, please come forward and state your name and city of residence for the record. Seeing none, I will close item number 10. The next item on our agenda is number 11, which is adjournment. The next scheduled regular City Council meeting is on June 6, 2024. We are adjourned, everyone. Have a great evening.